As business owners, aren't we always looking for additional revenue streams? Of course we are. Today, my guest is Vesna Moore. Now, this is a two-part series. Please go back and listen to the first part. But today, in this section, she is going to talk about an additional revenue stream that they created at Annex Business Media. And this is to help their advertisers. It's an award-winning lead generation program that they put together, and it created additional revenue for their company, but it also helped complement what they have in-house, and it's helping the advertisers really get their brand out there, brand recognition, but they're able to build a relationship with their products. So listen in. So now, Annex offers, obviously you have multiple publications, but you offer different marketing options. In your experience, what are you seeing as your most popular options? And that might be a hard question because it's probably based on industry.
It can. Every industry kind of performs differently with different tactics. And there's certain industries that are still lagging even from an email growth perspective or email acquisition perspective. You take industries like agriculture, for example, and we have a number of agriculture publications. Those folks, a lot of them don't even have broadband yet because they're in rural areas. So they don't necessarily have access to the internet the way, people in offices downtown Toronto do. They are out in the field. They're not easily available through a good portion of the year. So those markets tend to perform differently, and we know to treat them differently because we've been doing this for a long time, and we understand what their sort of harvest seasons are and what their busy seasons are, and even the sort of culture within any of the markets, because farmers, again, there was a while back where people were really going after farmers for some reason with scams. And there's been a couple of farmers that had really lost a lot through these scammers. So doing telemarketing calls, doing outreach to them became really, really difficult. They start trusting anything they were getting. And we literally went out to them with a message saying, we understand your concern. This is, top crop manager calling you and emailing you. And here's our number. You can call us directly, check us online. You can see it's really us. So every market goes differently. And even when you talk about, the sales tools that we have available to our clients, every market can perform differently on different tactics, right? One of the good things is we have the ability to assess that. So if we have a client that comes to us for the very first time, it starts with a conversation. What is it that they're trying to get through this program at the end of the day? So, are they launching a new product? Are they looking for just brand awareness? Or do they just want to get, people knowing who they are? Or do they want leads? Are they hell-bent on getting leads so that they can, make a final sale? And that's what their purpose is here. So we try and assess that. And then when we run a program, we look at how it performed. And we have a lot of different clients in similar industries that we can internally benchmark and see, where they sit as far as performance is concerned with other clients. And at the end of the day, we can offer them some kind of advice or change the program up for the next time around. But everything is kind of moving digital. We've been lucky. We have done very well with our print products. We continue to be, I think, around 50% of our revenue is still coming from print. And the rest of it is coming from our events team, and a lot of it is coming from our digital portfolios. So we understand that's where it's going. We're seeing the slow decline in print happen. We're lucky it's a very slow decline. And we actually run a printing company as well. So we have a printer that prints. We are the printer that prints all of our own magazines.
That's nice.
So we have to make sure that we keep that part of the business viable as long as we can as well. But we haven't done anything intentional to do that. We've let the progression happen kind of naturally. And the growth is definitely in digital though. So we are literally popping out new digital products day after day, everything we can think of, anything we can do. And again, a lot of the success is from a lot of the partners that we have in place that allow us to be nimble and to really leverage our databases when it comes to new marketing products, development of products, whether that's creating a new newsletter for a new subset of an industry, or whether that's creating an entire new product that can go out to market for our clients. And we do everything from, you know, display advertising online to display advertising in the magazine to direct marketing to omni-channel and programmatic, and just everything you can kind of think of. You know, we kind of act as an agency, almost like a full-scale agency. The difference is you're going to our extremely vetted audiences. And each time we do any of these sort of deployments or these tactics, we're using our audiences either as the direct marketing piece or as the initiating sort of target audience for lookalikes or anything else like that. So again, we get that stronger sort of, you know, click through. We get that stronger KPI at the end of the day when we're reporting on a lot of these campaigns as far as benchmarks go.
Yeah, I am starting to see more people come back to print. People looking to place those ads because the print publication offers such validity for a company, but also a good quality publication, when you get it, reinforces a quality brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you hold it, and if that publication is filled with very good content that speaks directly to the individual. I know I'm guilty of this. If you looked on my desk, I've got publications going from metalworking to food to confectionery, whatever it is, because these publications have so much value to me that I need to be in tune with those industries, that I hold on to them. And so there's more of a shelf life when you're placing those ads in those magazines.
Absolutely. I'm really happy to hear that. That would be a great thing. I think most publishers would be very happy to get more print revenue in where they could. You know, it's been our bread and butter for eons.
I know.
It's changing quickly. Some publishers are feeling that change faster than others. But at the end of the day, that credibility and on the branding that you're speaking of, it lends very strongly to the print product. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think, you know, when you get a magazine ad in the pages of the magazine, especially if you're a new brand or, you know, a startup within the industry, you want to make it there because you are giving credibility to yourself through that brand.
Well, because we all know, you know, with emails, we could send I could send an email out in the next 15 minutes to 100,000 people, and how much would it cost? But if you take the time to place that print ad, get the ad together, just people realize, hey, and they're around, they're going to be around for a while. They're serious about this industry. That's why they're putting some of their advertising dollars there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just think now you're going to start seeing it go back into the mix. And this is where Annex did a great thing, because a lot of publishers, you know, discontinued their print publications. And I think Annex might see growth because you held on to them and you continued printing.
Yeah, and I know some publishers didn't have a choice when they discontinued product. You know, but I believe there has been some publishers that were a little short-sighted because of the hype of print is dead, print is dead.
Yeah.
And you know, and I've worked with some people who've had that mindset way back before it was even dying, and they were touting that print is dead. Is that self-fulfilled prophecy? And you really don't want to get there if you don't have to. But there's a reality to that. And at the end of the day, if, you know, print is your highest costs. So, you know, between printing it and mailing it, there's a lot of money there. And if you can somehow find that sweet zone where the number of issues you print perhaps needs to change, even if you maintain just one issue a year, and maintain that one print issue a year, that credibility, that branding still stays much stronger than going fully digital all out. But
yes. And it, you know, anyone who does like the print is dead, email's dead, they usually have their own agenda in mind. They're usually promoting something else, like, you know, it's all AI. All we need is AI. Let's get rid of, you know, we've been through so many of these things over the years. And, you know, so we start to know that nothing is dead. I think you always have to sit and assess, and also, like you said, be willing to pivot based on what you find out. And that's why people also, when they go to a brand like Annex, one thing you mentioned is you have that knowledge in-house of what type of ads work, what type of channels are working. That's what you get when you go to an industry-specific source like yours versus, a big compiler doesn't really know what is best for someone who's in medical fabrication. Do they really want the CNC machine? They're not going to know that information. So you give them a wealth of knowledge that helps their advertising be more successful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, if you're going to a publisher who knows that industry inside and out, they are the voice of that industry. And that's, how we feel about our brands. We're the voice to that industry. We have editors, we have publishers who know that industry inside and out. And they understand the segmentation within that industry, and they understand who to go to market to and how to go to market. And that's a big difference than if you go to a large conglomerate that just sees you as a client. They just want to sell you something, get you in and out the door, and that's done, and you take what you can get. Whereas if we had a client come on and they weren't happy with their performance, we sit down with them and we look at what can we do to make it better, and really have some knowledge and some insight into what can happen to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the knowledge you told us about the farming industry. It's that feedback that maybe that little sweet spot of the best time to send those messages, or how you should, like you said, by saying, we are this publisher, look at our website, give, value to why you're calling them and asking them to subscribe to the magazine. You're not asking them just, hey, sign up and poof, you'll be gone. You're going to be there.
And we have the credibility with the brand name, and most of our brands are known within their industries, which helps a lot too, right?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was at the Omeda conference, OX6, I was so happy to hear that Annex won an award for your lead driver package. And I was hoping you could tell us about that package and how you use it to help companies create that nice cohesive strategy, which, and now gets back to what we said before, helps build those relationships that instill trust and keep them coming back for more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we did. We won an award at OX6, and we actually won an award at OX5 for
nice.
Well, so we're 2 years running on that. So I like to call it our award-winning program now.
Good.
So yeah,
I think you can after 2 years. It can definitely be an award-winning program.
We'll make it official then. That's great. So we moved to the Omeda platform, and for those of us that don't know, Omeda is basically a tech stack that is specific and unique to publishers for audience management, but also for email marketing and deploying, marketing automation, and a CDP. It has all these bells and whistles, and we moved over there just over 3 years ago now. We've been on that platform, and the reason we moved to that platform was because of these bells and whistles. And one of the things we first saw with that platform was a really pretty sort of work process flow marketing automation sort of module that they had. And we were sitting at, I think it was the OX3 conference back then. We weren't clients yet, but we were seeing the seminars that they were putting on, and they showed this portion of the platform. And both my boss, our CEO, and I looked at each other and said, white label. We saw right away that we can make a product out of this and we can go to market with it. And when we did move over to the Omeda platform, and after our conversion and all that wonderful data work had to happen so that we could be up and running, we started looking at that. So back in January of 2022, we launched our lead driver program. And that lead driver program is using that part of the platform to build a somewhat templated all-out marketing program that we can give to a client that gives them our first-party data. It gives them our 4-effort email drip campaign, so that we're minimizing the fatigue on our database by using that drip campaign and driving people further down into the funnel. It gives them a pop-up on our website. It gives them a ad in our newsletter, and it also has a landing page that's created for the client that puts a gate on top of that landing page in order to get unknown people that are coming through, and a little social media play. That was our original sort of lead driver program. So we launched that a year and a half ago, and we saw a lot of great uptake. Clients loved it because it was easy for them. They would basically come in, they would buy this program, and it would give all of these different sort of tactics out and compile all of these leads, and we would highly score the leads, so we could tell the client every single point of engagement that people made through what we call this journey. And at the end of the day, they get to go out to the top 20, top 30, because we are providing 4, 5, 800 leads sometimes, depending on how the campaign does. And, you know, telling them the top guys to go out to, especially the people that filled out that form on the gate, they're your prime sort of leads. Get out there and get them sold. So we were running a lot of those, and they were coming in great. We did almost, you know, I think 30 of them last year.
Because it's a nice, just to interrupt you, because doing it that way, you're creating that nice cohesive campaign across different channels, which in this marketplace where people are being bombarded so much by promotions, it can't be a one-off email. You're not going to get sales that way. But if you go and you have your promotions showing up on the different channels, that's where people notice it. You get that brand recognition, but then they click through and respond.
It is that multi-touch sort of journey, you know, and it can change for anybody who's in that journey. So if you know, engage with email 1, you take a different path than if you didn't engage until email 3, or if you engage through, you know, social media, or if you engage through you come back into the fold and you get email 2. So it's a really good touch point, continuous sort of program onto that audience for that client. So we had great success with that. And then we also started running a lot of omni-channel. Omni-channel is like programmatic and search networks and, you know, video if you want, and everything else like that. And we were kind of running them independently. And then it dawned on me late last year that, hey, we could make a super lead driver. So I created something called Lead Driver Plus. And Lead Driver Plus is everything that I just mentioned on our owned and operated properties with our, you know, internal sort of efforts. But it also bolts on now an extra 100,000 impressions to the landscape, the online landscape. So, you know, your ad will go on CNN.com, it'll go on MSNBC, it'll go in all the search networks, it'll go into Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and every single social platform you can think of. And again, there's optimization to all those tactics. So you can see where you're performing better. My LinkedIn did better than my Facebook. Hey, I didn't realize, but Instagram did really great for plumbers or something like that. So you're getting a lot of learnings as you're doing this, but what it's done is it's created this, what I call the Cadillac marketing package. And I don't believe there's anywhere else you can go in the Canadian marketplace right now for any of our industries where you would get anywhere near that same sort of program that would go to every single that we can think of, including programmatic and omni-channel and everything else, still driving them all back to their landing page, still driving all those leads back. And we actually found through the implementation of that secondary process of putting the omni-channel stuff on there, we've doubled the leads and we doubled the form fills. So considering and I think that the key point to that, any kind of programmatic or omni-channel, and everyone should be doing that because it's just what people are. Anything that you do there, the difference with our program and just going out to a trade house that will do omni-channel for you, we onboard our first party data. So again, this all ties right back to the quality of the data that we were talking about when we first started talking. So by using and accessing our first party data and onboarding that to the omnichannel and the programmatic campaigns, the actual, you know, KPIs and the click-throughs are much greater than any other campaign you'd run. And 2, as we're doing that, we're starting now as a publishing company, we're looking at our digital audiences. And we're building our digital audiences, which are now in market for any of these advertisers. So people who've engaged with their content or similar kind of content can be re-accessed again and again. So it's been greatly successful. We've had, you know, another, I think since January, we've had over 20 Lead Driver Plus programs come in. And the feedback, because I sit on sales calls now, and the feedback from the salespeople has been fantastic. You know, they're getting direct sales, they're getting more leads, the highest quality leads they've seen. We've had clients come back and re-up and take another program as soon as the program is finished. And we've had a handful of clients take an annual program. They just want to keep going. They just don't want it to stop.
Right,
So,
right. Well, that's a great way to keep those, you know, flow of leads coming into the company, but quality. But you mentioned it's not just Canadian data you have at this point, correct?
yeah, as far as the omni-channel goes,
Yeah.
it can be anywhere in the world. So, you know,
Yeah.
when we're running our omni-channels, we ask the client, where do you want to go? And we can go to Germany, we can go to France, we can go to US, wherever they want to go. And some of the great tactics used in omni-channel, one of the ones that I think is really cool is the geofencing. So
Yeah.
if you're a plumbing supply company and you are going to our HPAC magazine, that's great. You're going to do all the emails and everything else like that. But you also know that there's a trade show going on in Los Angeles for plumbers and, you know, contractors. We geofence that and we get all of the people that are attending based on that location of that conference center.
Right.
We start messaging those people with that client's ad, and in the targeting is extremely strong on that. So, and again, you're building those digital audience lists to continuously market to after the fact too.
And plus you're doing all the work for the people in one place, which is wonderful, because when you can work with one organization that does all of it, that's when you can do more of the analyzing that's really going to help you succeed faster. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of brands will say, okay, I'm going to do, you know, lists over here. I'm going to do programmatic over here. I'm going to do my social posting over here. And yeah, they might come together with some type of reporting, but it's not the same. If everything could be all in one place, that is the best place. One, it'll save you time, and it will also save company money because they're going to achieve their goals faster and it'll cost them less.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're talking about people doing those different tactics all in different silos, it's like anything. It's like keeping your data coming from different sources and different silos. You don't have that sort of master record, and you don't have that ability to not just reporting, as you mentioned. So you're going to get 7 different reports and you're going to try and make sense of it all in one sort of holistic way. But it's also the Lead Driver Plus program brings all those tactics together within the program. So if somebody has come in on an omni-channel, they saw that their ad in CNN, they go to the landing page and they fill that form out, they're now getting email too, you know, and then they're getting email through. So you're continuing that sort of the touch point journey with everybody that's engaged. And at the end of the day, you're getting a report that tells you, here's Jim Smith. He engaged with your email 3. He engaged with your omni-channel in Twitter. He engaged with your omni-channel in, you know, Microsoft Search. And he also, you know, clicked on your CDP on your website. So, you know what, reach out to him right away. He's very interested. And it's that sort of level against that quality of the leads that we're going to provide because of the quality of the data. That is the first party data on the full program. It's just a much tighter, much more targeted and highly vetted sort of marketing program that can be offered as far as, you know, providing leads.
Yeah. Well, now I totally understand why you are the award-winning lead driver package. And that just sounds like a great package for any type of advertiser to really get those valuable leads. Because like we said, going to industry specific lists, you'll save 5 steps. But if you go through a program like yours, now you've saved a couple of more because you've gone through that whole nurturing across all those different channels. That person is already 2 more steps in.
Yeah, and oddly enough, you know, we weren't sure who the prime audiences would be for a program like this, and we thought, well, it's going to be people who don't have marketing people in-house or anything like that. And yes, it has been, but people who have marketing people in-house are actually adopting quicker because they understand the value of the program that they're getting.
They understand the time.
And the time that it's saving them. So as a marketing person, and the same applies to agencies, and most of our business is direct, but we do have, you know, 20 or 30% of our businesses through agencies. Agencies love it because they don't have to start sourcing all over the place to do all the different tactics. They come to one place, they get one report, they provide it back to the client, and everyone's happy. So
and like we said, you know, the marketing people like it because it saves them time, but it also, because all the reporting is in one place, they're going to be able to market smarter to get the better results faster.
Absolutely.
And that's what they all want. So, all right. I have kept you so long, Vesna, but I've just enjoyed our conversation. You gave us so many great ideas in what companies should do going forward with their marketing. And I want to thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it very much myself. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of your podcasts in the future.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. Please hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss our next episode. And in the meantime, if you'd like to talk to me, please feel free to send me an email to dpeterson@worldinnovators.com. Till next time, have a great day.